parents, we're back with Teenager Tuesday. This is week 3 of helping our kids grow in confidence. We are diving in. Over the last few weeks, we've talked about teaching our kids confidence, what real confidence looks like in their life. And today we're going to just talk some more practical, nitty-gritty things. So if I haven't met you yet, my name is Tisha. I'm the student pastor at the Frisco East Campus. I'm here with one of my best friends,
Stephanie Jordan,
also a pastor here at Hope Fellowship. Hope you've enjoyed the series. I think it's been so good. We're just going to talk through some practical, straight practical things that you can do at home that have helped us in different ways with our kids and helping them grow in confidence. And what I do want to say at the beginning is everybody's kid is different, right? So what works for me may not work for Stephanie. And what works for Stephanie may not work for you, the listener. We don't know, but hopefully this might spur some ideas of some things that you can start doing in your own home that can help your kids grow in confidence. And that's what parenting is, right? Sharing ideas, helping our kids grow, and just kind of figuring this all out together. So I'm going to just jump into the first one. And this goes back to kind of week 1. Just keep reminding your kids, your students, who they are and whose they are, right?
Yeah.
And I'm really not going to say a lot about this because I covered a lot of this in week 1 of the podcast, but we have to constantly be reminding our kids who they are, who God created them to be, what His Word says about who they are, and that they are His. And hopefully, they can really get that, feel that in their heart, in their spirit, and it can just bring them a whole level of confidence that is unmatched because they know whose they are and who they are.
Okay, so another thing I would say, celebrate effort more than results.
Ooh, good.
And so this is a big thing in our house. We have 2 teenagers. And one, they're both brilliant. They're both very, very intelligent. I might be biased, but they're both very intelligent
they are.
teenagers. And for one of them, organization is very easy. She gets things together. We don't ever have to question her about school. She's on top of things before we are.
Yeah.
And for our other student, he's a little bit more, he's more like me, honestly. He's very, everything's fun and, but he is very smart.
Yeah.
He tries hard. And so knowing for him, the organization piece is going to take a little bit more work.
Yeah.
Celebrating effort more than results. He's going to study and she's not going to study at all. And they may get the same grade on a test, or she may do worse and he may do better, or vice versa.
Right.
There's so many different things. But if we can celebrate the fact that the effort more than results, then they're not afraid of failure.
Yeah.
Because if they know the thing that is important here is what I'm putting into it.
Yeah.
And they're going to get back a lot of good.
Yeah.
But when you celebrate the effort rather than, because we all know as adults, there are things that we do, we put a lot of effort in, and maybe it doesn't yield the results. Does that mean we failed?
No, yeah.
Not necessarily. If we learned something.
Right.
And when we do fail, it makes it, we're a little more okay with it, because we know that the result isn't the thing that gives us value or gives us confidence. It's the effort we put in.
Yeah. I think this phrase just came to mind, that you fail when you stop showing up.
Yes,
right?
That's so good. Yeah.
And I think that's just the case across the board. So, all right, number 3, teaching our kids that their voice matters. And I think this is so important to do from a young age. I have 2 17-year-olds and a 16-year-old. And one of my 17-year-olds, I've been giving them a lot of different choices lately and just kind of, hey, what do you guys want to do, this or this? And she'll say, well, why does it even matter? It doesn't matter what I want. What does it matter what I think? And I just am taken aback by that every time, because I hope and I pray that what she does want and what she thinks, and that her voice, that it does matter in my life, in our family's life, and in general in the world. And so I've had to really take a step back and kind of evaluate, okay, what's going on with my parenting right now, and what does she need from me right now? Because there's maybe a piece that's broken and she may not see it, and maybe I haven't seen it. And so what can we do to make sure that she is feeling confident enough to know that when some question is given her way, that she's just not sitting back letting everyone else make choices and decisions, but that she's putting her own voice into it, her own mix into it, and that she knows that what she says matters to me. And a way for me to do that, another way for me to teach them that their voice matters to my kids, is just remember what they tell me. I know sometimes my kids will tell me stuff and it's so random to me, and it's about these games and whatever that they're doing, and they'll bring it up again. I'll be like, what? I don't remember that. And they're like, I told you don't remember. And so I'm trying really hard to just remember what my kids tell me, because I want them to know that their voice matters in whatever room they find themselves in.
Right. And that kind of leads into the next one. So sometimes I think that students will think their voice doesn't matter because they don't think their voice is good enough, or they don't think that they have it doesn't match, or it's not going to be accepted. And so helping them find their voice is a big part of that. And so maybe they'll try. Think of it like a choir. If an alto is trying out as a soprano, they're going to think, I'm not a good singer.
Yeah.
But if you can help them find their voice, they maybe will realize, oh, I actually am a good singer.
Yeah.
And so thinking of that with your student as helping them to find their voice and what that looks like blended with the choir. And sometimes they're singing melodies, sometimes harmony, but that it's necessary. It completes the the makeup, it completes the song, and without it, things would be hollow. So helping them find their voice, and knowing, as parents, this is a big one. You need their voice to be different from yours. And it will be, and that's okay, and that should be celebrated. So yes, the teaching them that their voice matters, but then helping them find it and celebrating it, even if it's different from yours. They're going to be different. There are things that my daughter does that I'm like, I don't. And there are things that my son does that I'm like, what in the world? But I love that, because that is what makes our world beautiful, is all the different voices joining together. And it's what makes my family beautiful too.
I love that. Number 5, teach them to fight their own battles. When our kids were younger and they would have a problem at school, maybe with a friend or with a teacher or an assignment, I'm the one who would reach out to the teacher and talk to the teacher about it. But as they've grown, I've given them the responsibility. If they have a problem with a test or with an assignment that they've turned in, I'm no longer reaching out to the teacher. They are doing that. They are going in confidence, hopefully saying, hey, something's not right here. Can we figure it out together? Because if I'm always fighting their battles for them, they're not going to learn to do it appropriately and do it well when they are out on their jobs or with their spouse later on in life. And so just teaching them to fight their own battles and to make sure that their voice is being heard.
Next one, let them make their own choices and only step in when necessary. So this is a big one. Giving them choices. I think we learn this with toddlers even, but it becomes a bigger deal when you're dealing with teenagers because the choices have bigger consequences, and letting them own those choices for better or worse is hard sometimes as a parent to sit back and watch and to be like, I'm just going to real quick adjust this.
Come back and fix it. Right,
But I will say the more choices that we make as adults, the better we get at it. And if we are robbing them of those opportunities to make choices, they're not going to get better at it. And the more choices we make, we get better at it, and we feel more confident in our choices because we have experience. We're able to face the consequences, good or bad. Making choices and that decision-making process, it fosters a sense of agency. There is so much more confidence. I will say this, when my daughter went through Student Region, one of the biggest things that came out of it is she came out of that and she's like, I have a choice in what happens in my life. Life isn't just happening to me. I get a say in how I respond and what I do.
Love that.
That sense of agency changed everything. It changed everything for her, and it changed a lot in our relationship. So that the choices and fostering that sense of agency.
That's so good. Number 7, don't shut ideas down immediately. I tend to be a control freak. Where are all my control freak parents out there? And oftentimes my kids will come to me and say, I want to do this. And in my brain, everything about it is a terrible idea. everything about it. And instead of saying, no, we're not doing that, I'm like, oh, cool, that's a good idea. Let's talk about that more. Let's explore that together and figure it out. And oftentimes when I do that, we come to a very good understanding of like what we can make work, right? And everyone is happy then at the end. And I'm not saying no immediately, because if I do that, then they're going to stop coming to me with ideas, with thoughts, with conversation even, and I won't get to hear from them at all. I want them to know that I'm a safe place, no matter what they bring to me, whenever they come to me, however they come to me. I don't want to shut them down. I want them to know that this is an open, kind place, whether it's ideas or they just want to come to have a conversation about something. I want them to know I'm a safe place. So.
Yeah. That's good. Next one, help them to see who they are and remind them. I would say to remind them, especially when their behavior and when they are behaving in a way that doesn't match who you know they created them to be. Mm-hmm. So one of the things that I like to say is, that's not like you. For instance, wow, you gave up, but you're not a quitter. What do you think happened?
Yeah.
Or you said some things that were kind of rude or unkind, but you're not a rude person.
Yeah.
You're actually a really kind person. That's not like you.
Right.
What's going on? Is there something deeper there?
Yeah.
And so it's that reaffirming in them, this is who you are, kind, you are generous. And the thing that just happened does not mean you did something that's out of character for you. And so that doesn't mean that's who you are. It's reminding them in those instances when we all fall short, for sure. But hey, I'm going to remind you who you are by saying that's not like you, because you are kind, you are generous. This behavior was not that. Let's figure that out. Let's dig deeper into that. It helps them to start to regulate on their own. And there's a lot of confidence that comes from that.
Yeah. No, I love that. I think that's so good. We have one more that we're going to share with you. Steph, do you want to take this one too?
So a big thing for me is I've never wanted to pressure my kids or make them feel like failures. So I tend to pull back rather than to push. But when we do this to the extreme, which maybe is something that I've done, it can be detrimental. I would definitely say, and something I'm growing in, is expect a lot from them and believe that they can meet those expectations.
That's good.
If and when they fail, giving honest and loving feedback. What did they do that was amazing? How can they do better next time?
Yeah.
And when you make it about, I'm going to raise the expectation for you because I believe in you.
Yeah.
Because I know that you can do it.
Yeah.
Rather than you better not fail if I set this high expectation.
Yeah.
It's a shift in mindset and saying, I believe more of you than you believe for yourself.
Yeah.
And I'm going to watch you grow into that. I'm going to watch you hit that potential that maybe you don't even realize is there.
Ooh, that's so good.
And then once you do that, you extend the challenge again.
Mm-hmm.
Give them another chance to fail or succeed. But again, sticking with them and saying, that the success or failure, we're going to try again.
Yeah.
And that honest praise and honest feedback helps them in the future to not take praise and feedback personally.
Ooh.
Which we all get at work.
Yeah.
And if we put our confidence in praise or critical feedback, it's wishy-washy.
Yeah.
It's on nothing.
Yeah.
So helping them to see praise and feedback is not personal. It's a tool.
I love that. Oh, I love that one. That one's so good. Okay, we got to wrap things up here. We got to wrap things up. Thanks for joining us for week 3 of helping your kids grow in confidence. And again, I said this at the very beginning, but we are all on this journey together. We're all literally doing the best that we can. And I think it's different based on who our kids are, their personality. And so none of these are like hard and fast, but I hope that you've learned and maybe you've come up with some of your own ideas on how to help your kids grow in confidence.
Yes.
I love you, parents. You can do this.
You.
Yes, we love you so much. You can do this. You're not alone. God is with you, and so are we. See you next time.